Welcome back to The Bloated Chef. I am Chef Jerome, an actual bloated chef. And before we get to today's informative and entertaining tutorial, please be sure to slap down on that like button, click the subscribe button, smash that notification bell, and share with the entire planet. Please keep your hands inside the ride at all times, and we thank you. And look what's on the board. A big old 16.5 pound USDA choice brisket, courtesy of one Gregory Charles Gore. We are going to figure out where we're going to separate this thing. Just for the record, we are not in competition barbecue, so this will not be a perfection video. Got it? We're separating where we're going to cut this big beast in half. You got the flat end, which is called the flat, and you got the big meaty end, which is called the point. You with me? Let's begin the trim. Brisket, loaded with tons of worthless fat. Get it off of there. I know there's two trains of thought. One is, oh, leave a little bit of fat on, because that's where the flavor comes from. I'm here to tell you that most of this is gone. You understand? You're gonna lose 25% of the size of this brisket right away. All right, knife dulled out a little bit. We've got her good and sharp, and now we're back, okay? Get rid of all of that gigantic, thick, 3/4 inch, half inch, even 1/4 inch fat. The flap and the point are going to require two different levels of fat, okay? Okay, on the flip, you can see a good look at that decal, the backside of the decal, that nasty piece of fat that does a full 90-degree turn around this brisket. Now the key here is to take the tip of that knife, get it in there and start shaving it out of there. You can't take it out in one shot, and you don't want to, because at the bottom of all that nasty fat is some good fat. That's right, that's the stuff that's actually going to flavor the brisket. So, get your knife, make sure it's sharp, get your fingers out of the way, go slow. You can't do it as fast as I can. Alright, back on the reverse flip. Now we shall decide where in this, you can see right there, it's not a straight line, it's always curved, or it's always a crooked road. What we want to do here as amateurs is decide where all that intramuscular fat, which is the one that really counts, ends and that flat begins. I'm going to pick it right about there and then go 2 inches even further. So here we go. Alright, check this out. Yeah. Turn it around. Yeah, it's perfect. I think we nailed that one. There you go, folks. All right, at this point, we can start to be a little more precise in our fat trimming. I've got the flat on top. Flats on top, baby! Yeah. Make sure you trim. You want to leave about a 1/4 inch all the way around on the flat, because we're going to make pastrami with this, which means it's going to be brined for 6 days, okay? Speaking of fat, as you trim this, take a look at the pieces you trim. You may get a little bit heavy and take off too much meat. If you do, set it aside, because guess what? We're going to use that for burnt end. Big gnarly corner there. You're thinking, oh, that's going to be perfect amount. Nope. All that does, that heavy, thick layer of fat, that useless fat, it's just going to be a border between the seasoning and the meat. It'll impact the flavoring. All right, flipping it back over. There's the curled end, or the other end of the decal. God, it's like Day of the Decal in here. Get that out of there. But look, a little bit of meat in there. We'll go back and inspect that later. Square that end off. Okay, remember, once again, not competition barbecue. All right, but you still want to try to get as much product out of this as you can. So, using the tip, using the blade, and then slicing it all out of there. Get rid of most of that decal. Leave the good fat. Are you following me? I'm hoping you are. All right. You got one edge, you got one edge. Let's square this one last side off. And if that's not a perfect candidate for burnt ends, I don't know what is. Up close and personal with that intramuscular fat. Intramuscular fat. Alrighty then, at this point we will wrap up that brisket nice and tight. That is going to get stuck back into the refrigerator at very cold temperature We will see that in about 4 days when we cure it for 2 more days. Now, on to the brine. That's right. Lots of ingredients, starting with cloves, whole allspice berries, whole black peppercorns, whole mustard seeds, and whole coriander seeds. We will toast all of those. Okay? Low, medium heat. Also, we have pink curing salt, very important. We've got some mace, salt, sugar, chili flakes. I've got ginger, and I've got my secret ingredient, Chinese 5-spice. It's not that secret. I just replaced one of the other ingredients for that. But that goes into the liquid. We will incorporate that all together and begin the toast. And as we stated earlier, medium-low heat. We will keep these moving along. Don't let them sit still. They will burn. You'll hear them pop. You'll get a very floral note. And then we'll turn the heat off, okay? Take them off the heat. Now we'll add our last component, ginger. Helps give that brine a little more tang. You know what I'm talking about. Whip it up, incorporate it all. Next step in this lengthy, passionate process, time to pulverize those pods and those seeds. Toast it up nicely, smelling good, very aromatic. Go caveman style like me. I like to go caveman style with mortar and pestle. It leaves a very rough texture. You can use a spice grinder if you're that sorry. That's fine, you will be. And just so you know, all the measurements and the procedure, the whole recipe will be in the description below. By all means, copy, paste it, print it, use it. All right? Before you do that, like, subscribe, share, and smash that notification bell. Right. In we go. Ingredients all together. Make sure you get to the bottom of all that brine. That pink curing salt has a tendency to sink to the bottom. Make sure it's all dissolved and incorporated. Last piece. Well, I guess I can't break a piece of cinnamon. I'm getting weak in my old days. 1 stick of cinnamon in. Bring it to a boil. Very quickly shut it off. Okay? Final ingredient, the off-the-rails ingredient. That's right. It's a spicy chili garlic sauce. You know I like a little bit of heat on everything, so why not a little bit of spicy pastrami? Okay, next step. It's a gallon of liquid. We've got about 3/4 of a gallon. That would be 3 quarts of ice. All right. Rest of the liquid added, it all fits. We will stir that around, melt it up. It's nice and cold, and in goes that flat. That will be our pastrami. All right, 6 days later, we'll take a look at that. Now then, 4 days later, we're going to look at this guy. That's our brisket. That's the point. I'm going to score that just a little bit, and now we're going to use a selection of beautiful curing salts that me wee big sister Maria Siobhan Judge brought by on the Super Bowl. I am going to coat that all over this brisket, all over this point. But first, I'm going to rub it down with mustard. I like to use Dijon. You can use yellow mustard. You can use grain mustard. Whatever you like, use. It's all up to you, baby. Now, here goes those salts. Curing salts. It's got bourbon, it's got maple, it's got brown sugar, all kinds of good seasoning. We're going to crust this, all sides, all 4, 6, 8, 10 sides, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to make sure this thing is very well coated. Press that mix into the meat, and we're going to let this sit for 2 days and cure. So this is day 4 of curing on the pastrami. We will cure this for 2 days in the fridge, wrap it up tight, shove it in the fridge. All right, all wrapped up, ready to go. Let us work on our pastrami rub. Quite simply, 50-50, 1-to-1, cracked black pepper, ground coriander. That is it. Yep, easy enough. Mix it together, make sure it's all well incorporated, and off we go to crusting the pastrami. Now note that color. It still retained that beautiful red color, which it will retain even after, I'm going to predict, 5 to 7 hours of smoking, okay? And don't forget the burnt ends. We cut those into good sized chunks, about an inch, maybe 1.5 inches. Those will shrink during the smoking process, so that should be a good size. They'll be just about bite size once they come off and once they get sauced up and finished. All right, Looking good, right? Looking good. Okay. Well, now we will finish these up with the remainder of those brown sugar bourbon curing salts. Of course, you can use whatever seasoning or seasoning blend you want. It's entirely up to you. These will get fixed up nice. Those will get wrapped up tight and get cured for 2 days too. And finally, 6 long days later, God, this is a long video, we have ignition. We're going to light up some coals, burn them down. Check it out, I'm using the old Brinkman. You want to talk about a workhorse? How about a war horse? Now then, 35 minutes later, coals are cooked down. On goes a big piece of hickory, because I likes to cook with hickory. All right, let's temp it out about 45 minutes after that. Looks like we're around the 2 to 220 range, which is perfect. And now, in order, brisket on the bottom, yes. Pastrami in the middle. And we'll do those beautiful little burnt ends on top. Ladies and gentlemen, closing the door, we are ready for launch.
Pal? Huh? What you doing? Yeah. It's nice out here. Nice and warm, isn't it? Huh? Yeah. Well, I mean, look at what we got going on, man. We got a grill smoker. A dang big old smoker. Whole lot of proteins in there. Yes, sir. Ain't much prettier than that right there. I'll tell you what. Twin smokers. That's a shout out to you, Mr. Brian Bullock.
Now cometh the torture, the waiting game. And we wait. And wait. Then, right about 3.5 hours later, we reload the coals and continue to wait. And mercifully, 7 full hours later, here comes a big old beautiful tender brisket. And here comes a gorgeous, a sultry, wonderful looking pastrami. And dumbass couldn't wait. Decided he needed to cut into it. It's too warm, you dummy. So we waited a little longer, sliced a few more. And there we have it, folks. How good does that look? Talk amongst yourselves. Meanwhile, we're going our third way. Okay? Third way. Oh wait, this is our fourth way. Sandwiches! Not just sandwiches, we're going to do some Panini Press sandwiches. We got pastrami, we got burnt ends, we got cheese, we got mustard, we got whiskey, brown sugar, spicy pickles. We've got arugula. I ain't had no arugula in 6 weeks. That's right. Double Swiss cheese on each side of the bread. Slap them together. And now for one of my savvy secrets. You may know this already, but the best way to do grilled cheese or paninis is with mayonnaise on the top piece. No, not butter, mayo. Eggs, oil. Think about how good that's going to brown. All right, we have preheated our Panini Press, a.k.a. the Shack Grill. Gotta love that shack, man. I love that, man. 8 quick minutes later, look at that. Beautiful defined marks, melty, smushy, squishy cheese. Hallelujah, people. This is going to be good. Let's cut one of these in half and see what looks like inside. Boy, I was way off. These are going to be friggin' great. Looky, looky. Here comes Cookie. Holy Hannah, these are going to be good. Cannot wait to dive into one of these.
Nice job, bro.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think I'm going to concur with you.
That pickle does a nice job.
It sure does. Whiskey pickles, folks. Whiskey pickles. You would think 4 ways would be enough, but my best buddy's coming over for a sleepover. So we're going to go ahead and do an old-fashioned Italian frittata. Yes, that wonderful egg custard. Only going to be stuffed with brisket and smoked burnt ends and pastrami. It's going to have green onions, assorted cheeses, hot sauce. This thing's going to be banging, people. Because that's what bros do when they have a Sunday brunch together. It's also a great way to utilize leftovers, which is what we do here at the Bloated Chef LLC, right? Into the oven, 300 degrees for about 15 minutes. We'll pull it back out. We'll lay a little mustard on top, because after all, you've got brisket and pastrami in there, right? 30 minutes total. We pull it. It's set. It's settled. Listen to the birds. There's a big cardinal sitting right on our windowsill outside. He's chirping away. This is what a Sunday brunch is supposed to sound like. Dove it up with a little Parmigiano Reggiano. Top it off with some radish sprouts. And good. And there you have it, folks. Brisket 5 ways. Hope you enjoyed this one. Please like, subscribe, share, and smash that bell. And we thank you.